A friend in the dark. December 17th arrived with a calm, heavy snowfall that softened every sound. The house on the hill stood like a small island in the hush, and Miss Sophie awoke with a sense of peace and a trace of quiet melancholy. The shadow was gone, yet the air still felt like the echo of something she couldn't quite let go. Wills was still asleep in her usual way, half inside her head, half outside, making small dreamlike sounds that almost resemble laughter. Miss Sophie smiled and stepped quietly into the hallway. The scent of frost and pine filled the air. She opened the door slightly and saw the world covered in a new layer of snow, smooth and untouched, like a blank sheet of paper. When she stepped outside, the world was silent. Only the soft sound of a pause in the snow followed her. She walked toward the garden where the old bird feeder stood. But something was in the air, a scent she didn't know, a sound like a sigh. Is someone there? She asked. At first, nothing, then movement. From behind the old apple tree appeared a figure, small, dark, and trembling. Not like the shadow, not quite. I didn't mean to, said a soft voice. I didn't want to frighten you. Miss Sophie stepped closer. It was a little fox, thin, very, its fur so dark it almost merged with the night. Its amber eyes glimmer faintly. You're not the shadow, said Miss Sophie gently. No, said the fox, but I'll follow it for a long time. It promised warmth, but brought only cold. Miss Sophie sat down in the snow so they were at eye level. And what do you bring? The fox hesitated. Nothing. I have nothing to give. I just wanted to escape the dark. Miss Sophie looked at him for a moment. She felt the key against her chest glow softly, as if it sensed that something new was awakening. Then you bring something after all, she said kindly. You bring truth. The fox blinked. Truth? Yes, says Miss Sophie, that even in darkness someone is always searching for the light. Wimsey came out onto the steps, her head asked, rubbing her sleep from her eyes. Sophie, are you talking to the dark again? No, said Wimsey with a smile. To someone who's been there. Wimsey saw the fox and froze for a moment. He's adorable, in a slightly frozen way. Can we keep him? The fox blinked nervously. I don't have a name. Then you get one, said Wimsey immediately. I call you Glimt. Miss Sophie looked into the fox's eyes. They did indeed glimmer, as if holding a little light within. Glimt, she repeated softly, that fits. The fox, Glimt, looked down. I don't know how to live in the light. You start, said Miss Sophie, rising, by staying in it. Come inside. There's room in the warmth. Inside, Wimsey brewed a pot of tea, and soon the room was filled with the scents of cinnamon and honey. Glimt lay on the rug before the fire, still cautious, but with eyes that, for the first time, carried peace. I never had friends before, he said quietly. Then you are lucky, said Wimsey with a grin. Miss Sophie collects them. Miss Sophie wagged her tail. Friends are like light. They don't fade when you share them. They grow. Glimt closed his eyes, his breathing soft and calm. Later, as Wimsey pulled a blanket over him, she whispered, "Do you think he's a piece of the shadow?" "No," said Miss Sophie. He's what the shadow left behind, the longing for warmth." She went to the window. Outside, the snow drifted slowly in the moonlight. For a moment, she thought she saw something move in the dark again. Not threatening, but like a nod, a quiet farewell. Miss Sophie smiled. Even darkness can create something beautiful if you let it. Wimsey nodded sleepily. As long as it doesn't create more dirty dishes. They both laughed, and Miss Sophie curled up into her donut. The firelight flickered across the walls, and the key shimmered softly, as smaller at the time. There were still many doors left to open, but no, there were three, and the dark no longer lived like the enemy, but like an old friend who had taught them just how brightly the light could shine. That was the end of December 17. And as I asked all the other days, if you dare to come back tomorrow, you will hear about the elf girl's legacy. Merry Christmas.